Hi Sarah, thank you for talking to us again on Medicine in a Nutshell. And I think we're going to discuss leadership fellows today. And I understand you are a leadership fellow in Yorkshire, is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
And what exactly is a leadership fellow, please?
So, a leadership fellow in Yorkshire, I'm on something called the Future Leaders Programme, and the reason that's being created is because we're really keen to get more clinicians in leadership roles, so more doctors that is, and nurses. In fact, we've now got some on the programme. And what that is a year out of clinical training. The main object is to improve your leadership skills, but you can also work on projects that you want to work on. So, for example, you see things on the ward or you see things in your practice and you think like, oh gosh, I wish I had the time to do something about that. This is actually a whole year where you can go off and do something about that. So people do them in different things. So I'm a GP leadership fellow, so my work's basically based around that. But there's leadership fellows, there's lots in paediatrics, there's lots in obs and gynae, and some people will pick on individual areas. So for example, some people are working on simulation, whereas others are working on quality improvement projects. I'm really interested in looking at women in leadership roles, so I'm actually doing a project on shared parental leave to see if we could help retain more female GPs and get more of them into management roles. I'm also doing starting a workshop on running the legal aspects of reflection, which is really interesting because there was the recent legal case in that. I also do a lot of teaching, and you get paid to do a postgraduate certificate as well, so I'm doing one in medical education at the moment. So it's a really, really good opportunity if you are interested in leadership, or even if you're just interested in making a difference.
So a couple of things I want to pick up on, Sarah. In terms of the projects for the leadership fellows, do you have to pick a project from a list of projects, or can you bring your own ideas to the table?
So it depends on the specific job you pick. So as I said, there's a big list of them on the website. So my GP one is quite free form, so I basically got told that I could pick a project that I wanted to do, that I was interested in. Others will be more specific, where you will start the role and you get given a project. So it's about picking whether you do. Some people like to have the ability to pick what they want to do, others would rather have something given to them.
And you're talking about the postgraduate certificate in medical education.
Yep.
And is that a 1 year program that you do concurrently? Is that what it is?
Yes, it's a part-time program. As part of the Future Leaders program, you can either do PG Cert in medical education or medical leadership, whichever one you prefer. But the one I'm actually doing at Sheffield Uni, and I've just got 12 teaching days there, and at the end of it I'll have that qualification as a postgrad certificate.
And that is being paid for by the Health Education England, Yorkshire and Humber, is that correct?
Yeah, all the fees are paid for that.
And during your year, do you get a salary as well?
Yeah, so you're paid as an unbanded doctor, basically, so it is a little bit of a pay cut, particularly if you're used to being banded, but that said, there are others, so you get to go to a lot of conferences which are paid for. I can work from home some of the time, which is really nice as well. So although you are taking a bit of a pay cut, I would say the benefits that you get from it are there.
And at what grade does one become a leadership fellow? I mean, can you apply as a foundation year or a CT?
So it would normally be once you're into a few years of speciality training. So I've done it post ST2, so that's 2 years into my speciality training. But there are other people sort of much higher up the level, so post ST5 and other specialities, for example, who are doing it. So you would normally have to be committed to your speciality for a couple of years before you were able to do this post.
Okay, and you're talking about your leadership fellow in Yorkshire. Are there similar programs in other parts of the country? Is this part of a nationwide thing?
So there are similar programs in other parts of the country. They're not exactly the same as the one in Yorkshire. So for example, in Manchester, I know they run one where you do 50% of clinical and 50% doing a leadership role. There's also leadership fellow posts through the Faculty of Medical Leadership and Management, if I've got that right, and that are run by Bruce Keogh. So there are options around the country, but they're just slightly different in each region.
And I mean, would you recommend it? You're already in it, obviously. I mean, are you enjoying yourself? Is it something you'd recommend people to do?
Absolutely. I just think it opens your eyes. It's almost as though someone's drawn back the curtain on the NHS and training and just sort of shown you what goes on behind it. And I just think it's fascinating to sort of learn where the funding comes from, where the funding goes to, how sort of senior management decisions are made. And I've done it already. I'm only a few months into it, but I've done so many interesting things that I never thought I would do, that I would recommend it to anyone.
Do you think this prepares one more for being, GP or a hospital consultant? Something like this, it would be a useful thing.
Definitely. So I think when you're sort of working clinically, I think it's very easy to get stuck in a little bubble where you work in your department and you just go about your sort of day-to-day work, and you don't sort of see all the things that go into running that and what goes into your training behind that. So I think especially if you want to be a hospital consultant or a GP, then it's really good to know what goes on behind that, and also to find out which people are responsible for running that. I think that can be really useful for the future.
And finally, you said it's now open to colleagues who are not medical, i.e.
Yep.
nursing and other healthcare professionals as well, or?
Yeah, so this year is the first year that we've opened it up to non-medical professionals, and I expect that will continue to grow over the next few years. So at the moment we've just got, I think, 2 nursing colleagues, but we are looking at opening up that further.
Wonderful, thank you very much. That's a very clear insight into leadership, the Leadership Fellow Program, and thank you again for speaking to us on Medicine in a Nutshell.
No problem.